Have you been feeling an urge to let things go, wrap things up, and create a bit more order lately? Not in a dramatic burn it all down way, more like a sense that you need certain things to be complete. And maybe you can't fully explain it. Nothing bad happened. You're not falling apart, but something in you knows it's time to release. If that sounds familiar, I want you to hear this clearly. That urge to let things go and wrap up, it isn't random. And in this week's episode of Weekly Momentum, I want to talk about where that feeling comes from, why it's showing up right now, and how to work with it so that you can step into your own rhythm to move forward with clarity, not force. So join me in this week's episode of Weekly Momentum. So last week was our annual Ignite retreat, and I had so much fun with the ladies. The theme this year was owning your rhythm, not someone else's rhythm, not the internet's rhythm, not the hustle rhythm, your rhythm. Because here's what we kept coming back to again and again at the retreat. Every year has a rhythm, a unique rhythm. And when you try to force a season that's not yours yet, everything feels harder than it needs to. It's almost like you're pushing against the flow. So if you felt a little off or like your energy is shifting or you're craving a reset, you might not need more motivation. You might just need to get back in sync. Right now, we're approaching Lunar New Year, also known as Chinese New Year, which begins on February the 17th in 2026. And Lunar New Year follows the moon, not the January 1st to December 31st calendar that most of us live by, which means it carries a different kind of wisdom. It aligns with natural cycles. It allows for buildup and release, and it encourages and invites for pause and momentum, as well as clearing before beginning. Instead of New Year, New You on January 1st, whether you're ready or not, Lunar New Year honors timing. That's why so many people right now feel the urge to purge, to clean, close loops, and reset right now. It's a seasonal rhythm. Now, we're also closing out the year of the snake and stepping into the year of the horse. And you don't have to be deeply into astrology or cultural symbolism to feel the difference. Symbolically, snake energy is more about introspection. The year of the snake is about shedding and letting go of layers that don't serve us anymore, internal processing, some quiet transformation. Snake seasons can feel like reevaluating everything, questioning old identities, pulling back a little so that you can regroup, and feeling like you're learning things the hard way. Ironically, though, you're learning them for good. So, if that's what this past year felt like, if it felt more internal, more reflective, more I'm changing, but I can't fully explain how, you weren't doing it wrong. You were shedding, and snakes don't drag old skin forward. The lesson of this moment right now is release the old layers before you try to run, because next comes horse energy. The horse represents forward momentum. There is a feeling of confidence, an energy of movement and momentum. There's a feeling of independence and a strong feeling of visible progress. Horse years reward motion, not perfection, motion. But the horse needs space, it needs room to run. So, what we need to do first is we need to clear before we step into year of the horse. There is actually a clear sequence of phases to go through: release, stabilize, intend, activate at the beginning of every Lunar New Year. And this is the part that I want you to take and use starting today. The lunar rhythm teaches a better way of doing things. Rather than forcing yourself on January 1st to just start doing the new resolutions, the Lunar New Year encourages you to release, stabilize, intend, and activate. So let me go through those phases a little bit with you so that you can make it more practical. You can start to tap into the rhythm of the Lunar New Year in a way that is going to allow you to let go and shed before you forge forward and you sprint into this exciting year of the horse. Phase one is all about releasing. Typically, I find myself starting on this phase when the traditional year ends, as in on December 31st. I feel the need to release. And this is a clearing window. And it's so fun because I feel like acknowledging the end of the calendar year unlocks this hidden space when I can release and clear space, ready to step more intentionally into the new year. During the release phase, you're going to be finishing what can be finished. And I want to be clear here. That doesn't mean finishing everything. You want to be mindful, otherwise, you're just going to stress yourself out, but you're going to close what needs to be closed. Let go of what no longer fits who you're becoming as you're going to step into this new year. This could be physical clutter, it could be digital clutter. We have a lot of that. Commitments you've made, agreements, mental tabs open in your head. And I want to keep it simple. Focus on one physical zone at a time: your desk, your bag, one drawer, your car, your closet, a shelf, a kitchen counter, one digital zone at a time. Maybe your inbox, your desktop, downloads folder, notes app, tabs, photos. And here's the rule: no maybe piles. Decide once. Ask, what am I carrying out of habit, not out of alignment? What is taking up space without giving me anything back? You might ask, what would feel lighter if it was simply done? When we have this completion, it creates more confidence. Phase two is stabilize. Typically, you're going to focus on this a couple of weeks before the Lunar New Year begins. This phase is a little bit quieter than the phase before, and it's not optional. Stabilize means that you're going to not have any new big projects in this time. You're going to be protecting your energy. You've just closed things out and cleared space. You might just clean up the edges of things and strengthen the foundation with habits and routines that will help you maintain the space that you created in the last phase. This stage is where you're going to build the runway for the new year. You might ask yourself, what needs to feel steady before I accelerate? It's that pause, that check before you step into momentum, because stability is really important, and it's what makes growth sustainable. So this is a really important stage. Think of it like clearing the decks and then walking around and making sure that there's no squeaky boards, that there is a solid foundation for you to then build your intentions on, which we'll do in the next phase. So right at the cusp of the new year, a couple of days before the Lunar New Year begins, which this year is February the 14th through the 16th, is phase three, intent. You're not purging anymore in this time. You're aiming your arrow. You're choosing your direction. You might write down simple, honest answers to these prompts, which will create intention. For example, this year I move like someone who fill in the blank. I am done negotiating with fill in the blank. My energy is for fill in the blank. Pick one word or phrase, not 20 goals, one direction. That's how you own your rhythm and you set a clear intention in this phase. At the Ignite retreat, the ladies and I spend quite a lot of time focusing on what is your one thing for the year, a clear intention, as well as a theme for the year. And also, we recalibrated and stepped into the energy, the feeling that they wanted to own and embody as they walked into the new year. That is all stepping into intention. And so, if you've already done that work, then you can remind yourself of what that one main goal is, that one thing for the year, your main intention. Because the projects, the goals themselves may shift as you move forward and you realize that you need to change direction a little bit, but the destination most likely will set the tone for the entire year. So you want to be really clear on your intention. Then phase 4 finally is activate. This phase begins February the 17th, and from here on out, no more purging, no deep cleaning or dragging yourself backwards. You want to be focused on forward motion only, one priority project at a time. Focus your energy and your attention on daily habits and activating them, boundaries that you're enforcing so that you maintain the space that you've created. I've flirted with the idea of the Lunar New Year. I've definitely been drawn towards this idea of rhythm to my intentions and the energy of my productivity and my goals. But this year, when I realized these 4 clear phases, it really made so much more sense. And I love the idea that there is a phase for purging and cleaning and clearing, a phase for solidifying the foundation, a phase being clear with my intention, and a clear phase 4 where we activate it and intentionally step into the new year. When we do this, we get to own our rhythm. You don't need a total overhaul of everything to do this. You need a rhythm you can repeat, a rhythm that matches the season that you're in. And the rhythm right now is clear, steady, aim, move. So you want to clear, you want to make steady, you want to aim with intention, and then you want to activate and move. One of the reasons I teach weekly momentum the way I do is because it gives you a rhythm you can come back to every single week, no matter what season you're in. And right now, this theme of letting go fits perfectly into our 4 steps of weekly momentum. Step 1, remember, is to rewind. This is where you look back without judgment. What worked? What didn't? What drained you? What felt complete? This is where you notice. What am I still carrying that already taught me what it needed to teach me? Rewind is not about judgment and criticism. It's about awareness and taking the time every single week, especially right now as we get ready to step into a new lunar year, an exciting one with the movement of the year of the horse. And we step out of that introspection and shedding the layers of the year of the snake. I particularly want you to keep that in mind as you're rewinding this week before you step into the new week. Step 2 of the weekly momentum process is realign. Sometimes when we realign, this is where we maybe need to let some things go that don't fit the direction that we're going in. So as you look at your bigger goals and desires and projects, you might ask yourself as you step into this week, what no longer fits my energy, my priorities, or this new season, the year of the horse, of momentum, of movement that I'm moving into right now? You might look at your bigger goals and your intentions, and you might ask, what no longer fits? What needs to be released, simplified, or closed? And you can make sure that you're aligning back with what's important, those bigger projects and goals. It might be time to renegotiate commitments that you've made so they fit better. Realign and adjust your expectations, maybe shift your goals, your bigger goals. Maybe you're changing how something gets done and how you're actually getting to the destination that you see, the bigger picture. When we take the time every week, and especially at this time of year, to realign with the most important things, then we make sure that we're not just dragging the old habits, the old rhythms with us into this new chapter, just because that's what we've been doing. So when we take the time each week to realign, it's a chance for us to make sure that what we're doing and where we're going are still in alignment with each other. Step 3 in the weekly momentum process is plan. This is where you choose just one main priority for the week, a realistic rhythm for the week, and you get clear on what actually deserves your best energy. Remember those 4 phases that I shared with you around the Lunar New Year? This is a good opportunity for you to really notice which phase you're going to be in this week so that you can plan to release or let things go or solidify the foundations, whichever phase you're in right now. so that you can align what you're going to be doing this week with where you are in the rhythm of the New Year. And if you've been feeling that desire to let things go, I encourage you to honor and listen to the intuition. Even though it might not feel like the most productive thing to do, to be purging your client files or getting rid of old journals or planners or rearranging your office or painting or cleaning, your intuition is actually leading you in the right direction. And if you do give yourself permission to do that this week, then you're going to align better with the rhythm of the Lunar New Year so that you can step more intentionally into the year, feeling like you've closed a lot of those loops. So this week might very well be, as you're planning, a week to close loops, to let things go and to listen to your intuition. Not doing things perfectly, not finishing absolutely everything, but finding those things that can be completed in a way that aligns with the flow of what your intuition is telling you right now. Your life is going to feel lighter, cleaner, and more doable as you do this before you step officially into the Lunar New Year. And then step 4 of the weekly momentum process is where you plug in. This is where the rhythm turns into action. So you're going to plan your week. I would encourage you to block off some times on your schedule for this purging and clearing and organizing rather than squeezing it in. Make it the star of this week. Create maybe a simple structure of time blocks for the things that absolutely need to be done this week, but really make sure that you have time blocks for you to clear the space, let go, and purge before we step into the new year. That way, you're not going to be forcing your momentum. You're going to be creating the space to be great. If you're feeling the urge to let go, this weekly rhythm gives that feeling a place to land. You don't have to figure out your whole year right now. You just have to work the weeks that you're in using the right sequence. So, whatever phase you're in, you're going to make sure that you're honoring that as you move through this week. That's how you move with the rhythm of the seasons instead of fighting against them. One last thing, as you step into the Lunar New Year, this is a really powerful moment to ask yourself, does my schedule actually reflect who I am right now and what I need in this season? If you're realizing your calendar is still built around the old rhythm, I have a self-paced program called How to Design Your Ideal Schedule. Inside that program, I walk you through a simple time audit so you can see where your energy is really going. We're going to look at designing and building time blocks and color coding your time to align your work and allow time for working in and on your business and focus your priorities. And we're going to look at how to use Pomodoros to build a realistic, repeatable flow for your days. You'll end up designing an ideal weekly schedule template, something that you can come back to every single week as you do your weekly momentum and you plan instead of just starting each week from scratch. I'll drop a link to the program below. It's called How to Design Your Ideal Schedule. So if this episode helped you, here's what I want you to do. First, pick your phase. Are you in phase 1, releasing, purging, cleaning? Are you in phase 2, stabilizing? Are you in phase 3, intending? Or phase 4, activating? Remember, don't do all 4 of the phases at once. Choose where you are and work with that rhythm, work through that rhythm. If you've been feeling the urge to let things go, I hope this episode gave you the permission you needed to trust it. You're not losing momentum. You're completing a cycle. Every season has a rhythm, and the work right now is to release, create steadiness and intention so that action can feel clean again. You don't need to push harder. You don't need to start over. You need to move in the right order through the phases that I just shared with you. So as you head into the days ahead, ask yourself, what am I ready to stop right now? What deserves to be complete? What's the next clean step forward? Next week, I'm going to show you a simple, practical way to create rhythm in your workday, especially when life feels noisy or scattered. We'll talk about how a small, repeatable structure can help you follow through without burning out. And if this kind of grounded practical support helps you, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's where I share tools, planning, strategies, and momentum shifts to help you do great work and still have a life. As always, Get it done without burning yourself out. I'll see you in next week's episode of Weekly Momentum.